Hey guys, Flutterpage will be coming to GL, and this is her kit analysis. So I have her here in Puppet Arena, and it's easier for me to discuss about her kit here. So first of all, to understand Flutterpage Kit, we need to see this, her insight, right? So after an ally takes an action, Flutterpage gain 1 stack of Gust for 3 rounds. At the start of the round, Flutterpage gain a force field based on the stack while removing other force field. She does not remove other force field from other unit. Lucy's force field, Mercuria's force field will all still be there. She removed her own force field. Why is that so? Because she has 3 types of force field. Paper Parade, Wave of Sheet, and Adio Mother Earth. She have 3 types. So if you activate the next tier, the previous one will be removed. If you cannot fulfill the condition for the 3rd tier, for example, it will then turn back to the 2nd tier, and the 3rd tier will be removed. So that is what it meant. And the whole reason why you want to bring Flutterpage is because of this force field. So let us look into our force field. First, Paper Parade. Okay, force field. This force field benefit all allies. So it's as if everyone has this force field. And the added relative damage is considered dealt by Flutterpage herself. So when an ally attacks, add an additional 15% relative damage to the attack with an additional 15% relative damage to a main target. So if you are doing a single target follow-up attack, then you get 30% additional damage, additional relative damage. And this is based on Flutterpage stats, not based on, for example, if you're using Lilia and she does follow-up attack. So it is not based on Lilia, it's based on Flutterpage. Secondly, when an ally performs an extra action, consume 2 of Flutterpage Eureka and additional 15% relative damage with an additional 15%. So that's 30%. So what happened here if, for example, if you are using Lilia again, Lilia does an attack. The first attack is not an extra action. So that will get 30% additional relative damage. Then Lilia will do a follow-up attack, and that will be 60%. Okay, I believe that it will be 60%. I need to test this out because I'm not exactly sure if an ally performing extra action, does it consider as an attack as well, and does this two combine? Probably it does, but I need to check it, because the main reason you want to bring Flutterpage is not because of this additional damage. It's because of what it gives from a tier 2 or a tier 3 force field. Tier 2 here, for each stack of Gust, Flutterpage has grant damage dealt plus 2% and Genesis damage plus 2% to the attack. If you have 15 stack of Gust, that is 30% damage dealt and 30% Genesis damage. Now, for the 3rd tier, the extra action is always a critical hit, and the action gain damage dealt and Genesis damage equals the character's own critical rate times critical damage minus 100%. What does this mean? Okay, if you have a unit, for example, 70%, okay, let's just say 80% critical rate and 150% critical damage. So critical rate 80%, critical damage 150% minus 100, so just 50%. So which means 50% of the 80% will be converted, not exactly converted, you will do additional damage dealt. 80%, 50% of that 80%. So essentially it is just 40%. Okay? So 50% of the 80%, so 40% damage dealt. And at this point, if you have like 25 stack of Gust, means you have 50% damage dealt, and plus 40%, that's 90%. And in that round, you are doing more attack and increasing the stack even more, then yeah, you can have really high. Maximum Gust stack is 50, and 50 is like 100% damage dealt, and with this critical rate, another 40 is like 140%, but probably you will never hit 50 stacks. Don't think you can do that. Okay, so that is for her insight 1. Her insight 2 and 3. 3, maximum Eureka plus 2. After attacking, grant Eureka plus 2 to self. When entering battle, grant Moxie plus 2 to self and gain 10 stack of Gust for 2 rounds. So this make it faster for you to reach this 25 stacks, and your team will be doing a lot of damage. Okay, but the main thing you want to bring her is actually all because of this force field. Now, let us look into her skill. This ultimate, self-channel, recover all Eureka, convert all own incantation. Okay, she have very high Eureka. I'm not sure exactly how many. It's not mentioned here, is it? I don't know, she have like maybe 6 or 8 Eureka, but she does have quite a huge number of Eureka. Convert all own incantation into regards from the sky. So this is not rank incantation. It is not mentioned anywhere that it is rank. So it will not contribute towards Mercurial cosmic energy. So it is a mass attack, deal 40% relative damage to all enemies and additional 40% relative damage to the main target. So if you have like 1 of this and 3 of this lying around, all of that will be converted into regards from the sky, and she will cast all of them. Okay, and then enter a dream that never grow old status for 3 rounds. In that status, she cannot gain moxie, but she can still use her incantations. Okay, but the moment you use her ultimate, she will use up all of it, so likely you will not have much of her incantation left in order to cast them. But this also means that when you use the ultimate, she will gain a chunk of Gust stacks, making it more likely for you to hit 25 stacks. Alright, for her S1 is a mass attack, deal 150% relative damage to 2 enemies and grant 2 stacks of Gust to self for 3 rounds. So since this itself is an action, so it's actually 3 stacks of Gust. And lastly, her S2, Cotton Kite. 1 target attack, deal 100% relative damage and grant continuous action to self for 1 round. So what does this do? It increases the AP. So like you have 4 AP, after you use this Cotton Kite, next round you will have 5 AP. So essentially, since it's only for 1 round, so now you have 5 AP, and that round, if you want to maintain 5 AP, you have to use Cotton Kite again. So it's kind of like you use it in order to get AP, and you get AP in order to use it. So in a way, she's neutral. Okay, it's neutral. But the advantage here is that she also grants an additional Gust stacks, because now you have 5 AP and you have 1 more extra action. Okay, so this is all for Flutterpage Kit. Yep. So basically, you want to get this, right? And the rest is basically what you can do in order to increase the Gust stack as fast as possible. So which means if you want to maintain 25 stacks, you have to do like 8 to 9 action every round. Even if you have 5 AP, that is only 5 action. And assuming that if you use 1 of this, then you will have 7 stacks of Gust. You are still missing 1 to 2 more action, which is why if you have a follow-up attacker, then you use it, then that would contribute to the extra action. One more thing to note, if you are merging incantation, like you actively move your incantation and then you merge it, that will not generate any Gust stack. Okay, but it's not a problem for Windsong if you are moving it. If basically you just have to time Flutterpage Ultimate before Windsong Ultimate, so a turn before you use Flutterpage Ultimate, the next turn you use Windsong, it is quite likely that during Windsong's turn that she used Ultimate, you will have 25 stacks of Gust. Okay, but anyway, the next part of this video, I'll be talking about some of the team comms, and then her Portray, because I do not have a Portray here, right? I will talk about her Portray, as well as Psychubes. Okay, not very detailed on Psychube. I don't really delve into Psychube that detail lately. But anyway, for her Portray, rank 1 increases the damage of Cotton Kite, and most importantly is continuous action 1. That buff now becomes 2 rounds. So which means like if you use it this turn, the next turn you have 5 AP. But now if you use it this turn, the next 2 turns will have 5 AP. If you are playing characters like, let's say you are using Anjo, you probably want to use First Melody, or you are using 九娘子, you also want to use first melody. In that case, you will be resetting your incantation list, and it's likely that Cotton Kite will be there, so you can just use it. But if you are playing with units like Lucy, Windsong especially, because Windsong definitely you want to use Unfinished Tune. So after you use Cotton Kite, the new list or the new incantation that comes in might not have Cotton Kite, right? And you would want to use Unfinished Tune for Windsong's incantation, not Flutterpage. So in this case, P1 Flutterpage will be very important if you are running Windsong or Lucy that uses Unfinished Tune. Else, occasionally only you will get the 5 AP, and sometimes maybe for 2 turns or 3 turns you might not even get Cotton Kite incantation and able to have 5 AP. And having 1 less AP would also means lesser Gust stacks. Yes, so in that lesser Gust stack, lesser moxie, so in that case it might be a problem to actually get 25 stacks, right? You have to plan more carefully in order to reach tier 3 of her force field. So again, if you guys are those, like Windsong is the best unit in the game, you should get P1 Flutterpage. Else, it is okay at P0. Honestly, even Lucy can play in P0, which is fine. Which means, like Lucy can play with first melody and it's still fine. But Windsong, you really want to go for Unfinished Tune. But let's say if you really insist, or you don't have the resource to go for P1, you are P0 and you still want to use it with Windsong, and you don't want to use Unfinished Tune, you want to use first melody. Remember the second infographic I did for the tips to optimize. I did it for tips to optimize Windsong, and that is based on first melody. So you can refer to that on the rotation, and that will increase the consistency on using Flutterpage with it, right? But whatever it is, I still recommend P1 if you are using Windsong. As for her team, basically follow-up attack, right? So here on the left side are most DPS follow-up attacker that I listed. Lilia, 九娘子, Lucy, Windsong, Anjo, and Jay. On the right side is Argus, Lopera, 37, Isolt, Babel, and Samawise. Those are like support sub DPS with follow-up attack. Okay, Villa, I listed her here, but I'm not too sure exactly if her special incantation contributes to Gust. But as I told you, I tested in roguelike, those special incantation does contribute to Gust. Okay, so here let us do some simulation. Windsong. Obviously, Windsong I put 2 to 3. It is not that everything she contributes 2 to 3 stacks from her extra action. It is that when she uses her ulti, she probably do like 6 to 7 incantation. So let's say she does 6, and 1 is her ulti itself, 7 out of 3 rounds, divide by 3, right? So it's about 2 to 3, which is why I put her that way. But anyway, consider if Windsong team can hit 25 stacks or not. So the first turn now, Windsong uses ultimate, she does 6 follow-up attacks, so 6 plus 1, 7. Consider the worst case scenario that you're using P0 Flutterpage, which means you do not have the extra AP. So 7, that round itself, only another 3 incantation can be cast. So 10, the other turn, 4, another turn, 4. So 18. So you are short of 7. Okay, 7 Gust stack. So here Lopera can come in, and Lopera every turn does 1 follow-up attack. So that is 3. And then now you have 4 more. If you have would you use Villa? I don't know. If you do, probably you will. You can add Villa in. So that's a lot of crit and crit damage. Your damage is going to be insane. Yeah, you're going to put Villa in. And Villa, let's say, is doing 2 special incantation in those 3 rounds. So that is 23. So 2 more stacks. And that can come from Flutterpage Ultimate, right? She uses Ultimate and then she casts follow-up attacks. So hopefully you have at least 2 incantation offers that she can release. Then you'll be able to achieve 25 stacks. right? And this is assuming in that 3 round you don't even get a single cotton kite. Okay. For the second one, let's talk about J. J can do about 2 to 3 repulse every round, so that's extra 3. With Babel, another 2 to 3, 2, let's say 2, because when enemy attacks, she does a shield, and due to J doing so many follow-up attacks, she does another shield. So that's 5. Then 37 will be doing a follow-up attack, that will be 6. So every round, this team, J, Babel, and 37, will have 6 extra action, plus 5 from the AP, that's 11. So every turn is easy just to get 11. So this team has no problem maintaining 25 stacks. Okay, how about Anjo, Nala, and Mercuria? So you have 5 AP, Anjo use 2, Mercuria use 2, 1 more, you leave it to Flutterpage Cotton Kite, right? So that's 5 AP. Anjo will be doing 2 follow-up attacks, so that's 7. And the next turn, pretty sure Anjo will be able to do 1 more follow-up attack due to the Angel's Temptation, the one when the him end, right? So in that case, with Mercuria, you will have like 8 AP a round. So in 3 rounds, you will have 24. So again, that team probably will need to rely on Flutterpage Ultimate in order to get 25, unless you bring Lopera in, which I usually will because Lopera is really a good team with Anjo Nala. So with Lopera, then no issue hitting 25 stacks. And finally for Psychube, when the carrier attacks while channeling, the attack gain penetration rate. So A1 is 14%, A5 is 28%, and for each extra action, critical damage increases by 6%, stacking up to 3 times. So 18% and 36% at A5, with 1 stack removed at the end of the round. Okay, so you do a lot of follow-up attack, you can stack it up to 3 times, but every round after that, it goes back down. So someone need to do a follow-up attack in order to bring it back up, or this is referring to her herself. Okay, I'm not too sure about this statement. It might be her that she need to do extra action. Then it seems that only when she uses her ultimate, you can actually trigger all this, the crit damage one. But I think for Flutterpage, I probably will still go for this Psychube, but probably just A1, or like not even upgraded, because I think she's more of a buffer than a DPS here, and we really want that juicy damage dealt from her force field, right? So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Good luck with your pulls.